Well, for Saudi Arabia, it's a time of increasing economic austerity with low oil prices and mounting security threats. These killings were a strong signal to Sunni radicals and ISIS and Al-Qaeda and others that the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia would be ruthless in its treatment of Sunni threats to its authority. It was also a strong signal to Shiite opponents or Shiite potential rebels in Saudi Arabia that Saudi Arabia would also treat very harshly with any threats to the stability of the kingdom. The Iranian reaction, I think, flowed into current Iranian politics, where there's a great contest for the upcoming parliamentary elections. And I think elements within the state seized on this occasion and allowed mobs to effectively storm and burn down the Saudi embassy in order to pick a fight with a major regional player and to weaken and derail President Rouhani and his bid to normalize Iran's relations, not only internationally, but also in the region. Finally, the reaction of Saudi Arabia of severing ties with Iran was really a reaction to the burning down of their embassy. I mean, I don't think that should come as a great surprise in terms of a reaction. Yeah, it's clear that there's been some infighting even among the hardliners over this incident. And there's been different positions being taken by different people. I think the Supreme Leader has been clear in his harsh criticism of Saudi Arabia. He did not comment directly on the takeover of the embassy, but I think there's also some growing consensus among the responsible hardliners that burning down embassies at a time when Iran is trying to attract international investment is not a proper tool of diplomacy. 2015 had ended with notes of optimism on the diplomatic fronts. There was a Geneva meeting that included Saudi Arabia and Iran over the Syrian conflict. That was quite a breakthrough. There were ongoing talks over the Yemen crisis, and there was a coalition against ISIS that was making some gains, at least in Iraq. Unfortunately, 2016 has started with this major fallout, and it will have negative consequences on three main areas. First, on Syria, I doubt that the talks planned for January 24 in Geneva can now take place. I certainly don't see Saudi Arabia and Iran able to be at the same table anytime soon. Secondly, I think the talks on Yemen also will unravel since the two main players externally are now at direct loggerheads. And I think this also, thirdly, complicates the war on ISIS in the sense that ISIS will see this as an opportunity to exploit while the two major regional powers are going after each other rather than going after it. Well, we need to remember that the US did achieve a lot diplomatically in 2015. It brought Saudi Arabia and Iran to the same negotiating table. It concluded a nuclear deal with Iran, which was thought to be impossible. Now, I think with this crisis, first of all, we need to let tempers calm and the dust to settle. There's very little that can be done immediately. Also, we need to await the Iranian elections, which are clouding the situation in Iran. If there is a victory for the sort of moderates, then we'll have something significant to work with. Finally, after that dust calms and settles, and after the Iranian elections, I think the US administration, Secretary Kerry, perhaps in cooperation with Foreign Minister Lavrov, can get back to robust diplomacy, particularly to walk back this particular diplomatic setback, perhaps with an apology from the Iranian government and at least the restoration of minimal diplomatic relations.